In this video, we'll wrap up our work on simplifying radicals. Before we do, let me tell you all how impressed I am with all the work that you're turning in. You're doing a great job. Keep working hard. The end is in sight. In order to add or subtract radicals, we have to simplify them first. Let's start with the 50. Is 50 divisible by any of our perfect squares? Well, 50 I know is divisible by 25. 50 is 25 times 2. Let's rewrite that as square root 25 times square root 2, which is going to give me 5 radical 2. Let's do the same thing with 32. But with 32, I have to be careful because 32 is divisible by 16. 32 is also divisible by 4. I have 2 to choose from. When I have 2 to choose from, take the larger one. I'll use the 16 and say that 32 is 16 times 2. We'll rewrite that as the square root of 16 times the square root of 2. And when I take the square root of 16, I end up with 4 radical 2. Now you're only allowed to add and subtract radicals if what's inside of the radical sign matches. Since this is a radical 2 and this is a radical 2, I can subtract 5 minus 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. Of course, if this is a 1, we don't even have to write it. We could just show the final answer as the square root of 2. Let's use the same process here. Let me copy the 3 and break down 98. 98, if I think about it, there it is. 98 is divisible by 49. 98 is 49 times 2. We'll break that into two parts. Copy the 3. Take the square root of 49. I can't take the square root of 2. 3 times 7 is 21. Good start. Copy the 5, and let's break down 128. Now 128 is certainly divisible by 4. But 128 is also divisible by 64. Let's take the larger choice. 128 is 64 times 2. We'll break that down. Copy the 5. Take the square root of 64. Copy the square root 2. Now multiply 5 times 8 to get 40 radical 2. If the numbers inside the square root symbols don't match, then you're done right here. If they do match, and they do, then you're allowed to add the 21 and the 40. 21 plus 40 is 61, so my final answer is 61 square root 2. Let's break these down one at a time. 45 is divisible by 9. 45 is 9 times 5. Giving me 18 radical 5. Let's try the 75. 75 is divisible by 25. 75 is 25 times 3. Before I go any further, I want to notice that this is a 5 while this is a 3, and since those don't match, we will not be able to combine these together. What about the last term? Is 125 divisible by anything in our list? Yes. 125 is divisible by 25. 125 is 25 times 5. Let's break that apart. Take the square root of 25. Multiply 2 times 5 is 10 radical 5. Now this term has a radical 5 and this term has a radical 5, so I can put those together. We'll go 18 subtract 10 is 8. But since this one is not a radical 5, all I can do is show it as a sum and call that my final simplified answer. I sure have enjoyed working with you today. Keep working hard on that homework, and I'll see you later.